The morning sun rose over the bustling streets of Karachi, gilding the air with a haze of gold and dust. Cars honked, vendors shouted, and the world moved fast. Too fast for anyone to notice the boy standing at the corner of the traffic signal, clutching a bundle of wilted roses. His shirt was torn, his hands calloused, and his bare feet pressed into the cracked pavement. Yet his eyes, deep and hauntingly bright, held a kind of dignity that the world rarely saw. His name was Ayan, 12 years old, but life had aged him far beyond his years. Every day, he stood by that intersection with the same ritual, roses in hand, a silent prayer on his lips, and a heart heavy with hope. His mother, paralyzed after an accident, lay in a dimly lit room in their tiny slum house. Her medicine cost more than he earned in a week. Still, he smiled, because she always told him, even a broken flower can spread fragrance if it chooses kindness. Today, however, would not be just another day. The traffic light turned red, and a convoy of luxury cars stopped. The sunlight reflected off a sleek black Rolls-Royce that looked like something out of a dream. Ayan approached it carefully, his small frame trembling with both fear and courage. The tinted window slid down, revealing a man in an immaculate suit, a man whose wristwatch alone could have bought the entire flower cart. The man was Zahir Khan, a self-made millionaire in his 40s. His face was carved with confidence and arrogance, the kind that came from years of turning everything he touched into gold. Yet behind his sharp eyes lay a deep, unspoken bitterness. His wife had left him 2 years ago, and his only son refused to speak to him. Still, Zahir wore success like armor, polished, proud, and impenetrable. "Roses, sir?" Ayan asked softly. "Only 50 rupees a bunch." Zahir chuckled, leaning back in his seat. 50 rupees? You think I need your pity flowers, kid?" Ayan didn't flinch. "They're not pity flowers, sir. They're for someone you love, or someone who's forgotten what love feels like." That line hit differently, though Zahir masked it with a scoff. "You're quite the salesman, huh? Fine. Sell me these roses, but tell me, what if I give you 100,000 rupees instead?" Ayan's eyes widened, stunned. Zahir smirked. "But only if you can convince me they're worth that much. Go on. Sell me your roses for 100,000. Let's see if you can." He said it mockingly, expecting the boy to fumble or beg. The chauffeur smirked in the front seat. The people around them barely noticed. The city didn't pause for cruelty. Insert for YouTube narration. Before we dive deeper into this powerful moment, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Kindness Universe. Your support helps us share more stories that remind the world that kindness still matters. Ayan swallowed hard. His fingers tightened around the roses. The boy looked up at the millionaire with eyes so pure they almost made him look fragile. Then softly he began. "Sir, these roses are not just flowers," he said. "Each one has a story. I picked them before dawn from the park near the sea. They were covered in dew, just like the tears my mother hides when she thinks I'm asleep. I sell them to buy her medicine, and when I hand someone a rose, I tell myself it's like handing her one more day of life." Zahir's smirk faded slightly. The boy continued, his voice trembling but strong. "If you give me 100,000 rupees, sir, it's not for the flowers. It's for the hope that one day my mother might walk again. It's for every night I sleep hungry so she can eat. It's for the dream that kindness isn't dead in this city." Silence. The cars behind them began honking. The light had turned green, but Zahir didn't move. He stared at the boy, frozen. Something in Ayan's voice, its honesty, its trembling faith, broke through a part of him he had long buried. For a brief moment, he saw his own son in that boy's face. The same stubborn innocence, the same quiet pain. He reached into his wallet slowly, then stopped. He didn't want to act out of pity. He wanted to feel why this mattered. "Where's your mother?" he asked. "In sector -9 near the old railway line," Ayan said. "Room 14, the one with the blue door." Zahir nodded, rolled up his window, and drove off. The boy's heart sank. He thought he had failed. That night, as Ayan returned home with barely enough money to buy food, he found something strange. A sleek black car was parked near the alley. His mother sat up on the bed, smiling through tears. "Beta," she whispered, "a man came." He paid for my treatment. He said you sold him the most expensive roses in the world. Ayan froze. Zahir Khan had quietly gone to the hospital after their encounter. He paid off her medical debts, arranged for a full-time nurse, and told the doctors not to reveal his name. But word travels fast in the slums, and soon everyone knew. Ayan wept silently, clutching his mother's hand for days after that. Zahir couldn't stop thinking about the boy. His words echoed in his mind every time he looked in the mirror. It's for the dream that kindness isn't dead. Weeks passed. Ayan's mother slowly regained her strength. She could move her hands again, smile without pain. The boy's roses began to sell faster than ever, not because they were fresher or cheaper, but because everyone had heard of the boy whose roses were worth 100,000 rupees. One evening, as the sun dipped below the skyline, Zahir's Rolls-Royce stopped once again at the same signal. This time, Ayan recognized it instantly. He ran forward, smiling. "Sir," he said, his voice full of warmth, "I didn't get to thank you." Zahir rolled down the window. His eyes, usually sharp and distant, now carried something softer, something human. "You already did, kid," he said quietly. "You sold me back something I'd lost long ago." Ayan tilted his head. "What's that?" Zahir smiled faintly. "My heart." The light turned green again, but this time Zahir didn't rush. He got out of the car, right there in the middle of the street. He walked up to the boy, knelt down, and bought every rose he had, at 10,000 rupees each. Then he said, "From now on, you'll never sell roses again. You'll help me give them." "Give them?" Ayan asked. "Yes," Zahir said. "We'll start something together. A small foundation, the Rose Project. Every rose will be given free to someone who's forgotten what kindness feels like. And your name will be on every one of them." Tears welled in the boy's eyes. Around them, traffic buzzed and horns blared, but for a moment the world stood still. The city of noise became a city of hope. Months later, the Rose Project spread across Pakistan. Children who once begged now handed out roses at hospitals, schools, and orphanages. The movement went viral. Stories of compassion blooming where despair once lived. Reporters called it a revolution born from a traffic light. Zahir and Ayan stood together at the project's first anniversary event. The millionaire had changed. His cold eyes now gleamed with peace, his laughter genuine. And Ayan's mother, now walking with a cane, stood proudly in the front row. When Zahir was asked what made him start it all, he looked at the boy beside him and said, "Once, I laughed at a boy who tried to sell me roses for 100,000 rupees. But he sold me something far more precious. He sold me back my humanity." The crowd erupted in applause, but Ayan simply smiled and whispered, "I told you, sir, even a broken flower can spread fragrance." Insert before ending narration. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, comment, and share it with someone who still believes in kindness. Subscribe to Kindness Universe for more stories that remind us what it means to be human. That night, as the city lights shimmered in the distance, Zahir drove Ayan home. Not to the slum anymore, but to a small new house he had gifted them near the sea. The air smelled of roses. Ayan looked out the window and whispered, "Mama will love this." Zahir smiled. "She already does, Ayan. She already does." And for the first time in years, the millionaire didn't feel rich because of his bank account. He felt rich because of a boy who sold him a rose, and with it, a reason to believe again.